So yesterday we talked about disturbances in the food web. Cuando yo elimino un organismo o añado un organismo vivo dentro de esta cadena alimenticia, I cause a disturbance. But we also need to consider abiotic factors, ¿ok? Aquellas cosas que no están vivas. Yo tengo factores naturales y tengo factores artificiales. These disturbances can be divided into two. La podemos dividir en aquellas que son consideradas minor disturbances y aquellas que son major disturbances. Like the word says, minor disturbances son aquellas que son localizadas, ¿ok? Que puede incluir sequías, puede incluir inundaciones, fuegos forestales, lo que estamos viendo ahora, pero obviamente a una escala mucho más pequeña, outbreaks in disease in plant and animal populations. Las enfermedades son parte natural de un ecosistema, okay? We can also have major disturbances, which are, like the word says, large scale. Por ejemplo, podemos tener eventos a grande escala. Ejemplo clásico que todos hemos vivido, una tormenta tropical, okay? Erupciones volcánicas, like this one right here. Like we've lived through this. La mayoría de nosotros nunca ha visto una erupción volcánica, and I hope we never do. Lo que faltaría para completar el 2020. Tsunamis, earthquakes, we've lived through most of these major disturbances in the past 3 months. Pero cuando hablamos de major disturbances, estamos hablando de que son obviamente a gran escala, en donde se van a ver afectados un montón de individuos. When we talk about minor disturbances, se van a ver afectados unos cuantos individuos nada más. No todos, unos cuantos. But a major disturbance is going to involve a lot of individuals, okay? Pero it's important to note that even though these things can be disastrous and may eliminate a lot of individuals and cause great disturbances, son naturales. These things are meant to happen in a cyclical way. ¿Eh? Estas son cosas totalmente naturales y el ecosistema se puede recuperar because these disturbances are part of the ecosystem. Ahora, human impact is completely different. An ecosystem takes longer to recover from the human impact or the human disturbance of the ecosystem because it's not prepared for us. An ecosystem can recover from a flood, from a fire, from a drought. ¿Okay? Porque el ecosistema está diseñado para eso. But human impact is so much worse. And when we talk about human impact, we're going to talk about all these disruptions, okay? All these disturbances that are going to affect the environmental balance, but it's caused by us, the humans, okay? It can be development, it can be invasive species, okay? So building houses in the middle of the forest, introducing species that are not meant to be there. Ya hablamos de esto. Yo introduzco un animal que no se supone que esté en la cadena alimenticia, and it's gonna mess it up. It's either gonna leave or steal the food from one organism, o va a proveer fuente de alimentos para unos depredadores que quizás no se supone que hayan tantos de esos. So I mean, there's going to be more of them, which means that they're going to eat more grass or they're going to eat more animals, y eventualmente it's just going to disrupt this natural balance. Air pollution, this is so bad. Aquí nosotros no lo vemos tanto porque nosotros somos una isla. No tenemos vientos que remueven mucha de esta pollution. Okay? But there are many, many other types of pollution. It's not only air pollution. We are going to discuss a lot of these different pollutions. So, first one, land pollution. Okay? So, when we define land pollution, it's going to be anything that either damages or contaminates the land. So, estamos hablando que no solamente son aquellas cosas que tú tiras al suelo y se ven feas, o sea, que lo contamina, sino que lo dañan. O sea, si yo tengo un humedal y lo seco para construir una urbanización, that is land pollution. Okay? I'm not just contaminating the land, I am destroying it. I am damaging the natural ecosystem. Y estoy afectando, por ejemplo, quizás el agua que estaba ahí era necesaria para que hubieran renacuajos, que era la fuente de alimento de un ave. If the water is no longer there, that means there are no more tadpoles. That means there are no more birds that feed on the tadpoles. ¿Ve lo que digo? So, land pollution, it's caused by who? Again, by humans, okay? Basura en la minería, en la agricultura, con las fábricas. These are all examples of how we mess up the land. ¿Cuáles son los efectos de la contaminación de la tierra? Chemicals that seep into the land can cause animals and plants to die. Okay? If they die, this causes a disruption in the food chain. Okay? And landfills, todos estos vertederos, they release a bunch of greenhouse gases, okay? Which we'll discuss further on, leads to global warming, which leads to a bunch of other problems. So, land pollution, garbage generation is one of the worst pollutions there is. Y esto nosotros podemos evitar. How do we stop it? Tratamos de evitar la producción de basura. Think next time you think of like, I don't know, a straw. Do I really need to use the straw? ¿Realmente necesito este vaso plástico? ¿Necesito este utensilio que puedo utilizar mejor un vaso de cristal? Think about it. If you just use it one time and you throw it away, this is where it ends up. This could have been the home to a beautiful forest, pero no, lo convertimos en basureros. So think about that next time you go to drink with a straw. We have air pollution. Air pollution is really, really bad. It's when unwanted chemicals, gases, and particles are going to enter the atmosphere. And it's going to cause harm to animals, plants, and it's going to damage the natural cycles of the earth. Again, todo lo que el ser humano hace que cause un cambio en este balance delicado de la naturaleza, it's going to mess it up. Demasiado CO2 en el ambiente is also bad, even though plants need them to survive. Too much of it can also be negative. Hay causas naturales de la contaminación aérea. There are natural causes. For example, volcanoes, dust storms, forest fires. Hay sitios y ecosistemas donde los fuegos forestales son necesarios. Don't get me wrong. Not all fires are bad. Some fires are needed in an ecosystem. Y estos son naturales. The problem is when we involve the human factor. Cuando tenemos fábrica, plantas de producción de energía, carros, aviones, químicos, the fumes de los potes de spray. And again, we go to the landfills. All of this human air pollution aumenta la cantidad de partículas que hay en la atmósfera. And a pesar de que usted no se da cuenta, pero even stuff that's happening in China is going to affect us because why? The air that goes into the atmosphere has nowhere to go. Se queda en el planeta Tierra. So, cosas que ocurren al otro lado del mundo are going to affect us. Uno dice, ese problema está allá en Brasil. Recientemente que hubo los fuegos en Australia. Australia is so far away. What do we care? Todo ese carbón liberado a la atmósfera, a pesar de que literalmente está al otro lado del planeta, is going to affect us eventually. It's one planet, one Earth. Water pollution is another type of pollution. Really, really bad. So, it's when waste, chemicals, or other particles llegan, pero en vez de a la atmósfera, now it gets to a body of water. It be a river, it be an ocean, it be a lake. Nosotros no tenemos lagos naturales, pero sí tenemos océanos, sí tenemos ríos, sí tenemos quebradas. And all these chemicals, they can become harmful, especialmente para los peces y los animales que need water to survive. In case you didn't realize it, we are animals that need water to survive. So water pollution eventualmente is going to affect us. Las plantas necesitan agua para sobrevivir. And guess what? We need plants to survive. So, literalmente, if we mess up our water supply, we are causing our own death. So, hay causas naturales para esto. Again, volcanoes, algae blooms. Algae blooms son estos que están aquí. Okay? Cuando hay demasiado nutrientes en el suelo debido a jabones, otros tipos de químicos contaminantes. When they get to the water, tienen un montón de nutrientes, a lot of algae empiezan a florecer, and actually what they do is really bad porque ellos van a eliminar el oxígeno disponible para los animales. So they don't have enough water, enough air or oxygen in the water to survive y eventualmente se podrían morir, okay? So storms, floods, these are all natural causes. But again, el mayor problema, as I told you in the beginning of this video, things that are caused naturally, an ecosystem can restore eventually because it is prepared for this. But the biggest problem always humans, okay? So aguas de inodoro, pesticidas y fertilizantes de las granjas, de las fábricas, ¿ok? Todo este desecho de agua y de químicos, ¿ok? Construction sites y la basura que hay flotando en el agua que eventualmente los peces, las ballenas y las tortugas se comen, como por ejemplo, you can see right here a plastic cup que posiblemente utilizaron porque no tenían ganas de fregar. Send it out into the ocean, eaten by probably a whale that eventually dies because it cannot digest the plastic. So we as humans are the biggest problem to the ecosystem. We are the problem, but we can also be the solution. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Cuáles son todos los efectos de todas estas contaminantes? We will discuss that tomorrow. You have a nice day.